Hey guys, it's Rottweiler back at it again with another video, and today I'm going to be doing my final Rivals of Aether tier list. So sit back, relax, and let's get into it. So in my last tier list, I divided every character into two different categories, their limits and their risks. But this video, I want to go a different route with that, and I really wanted to talk about their game plan. I think that'll be an easier and more concise way, actually, to show and reason why I think these characters are where they're at. Alright, so at the bottom of my tier list, I have Shovel Knight. Shovel Knight, he's kind of a weird character, to say the least. He doesn't really have a traditional Rivals of Aether character gimmick where like he sets something up on the stage and then he kind of plays around it with like his normals and specials. No, he kind of just hits you, which means he wins neutral, and then you drop these gems, and he can pick out these gems with his neutral B, which I don't have equipped right now. So yeah, Shovel Knight, he doesn't have that kind of gimmick that every other character has. He has the shot mechanic, which he basically spends the gems that he gets from beating you up in neutral to buy a certain versatile tool he may need in the moment or want to set up, right? So that's kind of his character, and it's not that that's bad, it's just that it isn't as impactful immediately, at least, as the other characters, and so he usually is playing on the back foot. Because his normals, where they're good, they're not all purpose, and that's kind of where he needs these kind of attacks to like help him, literally. Like they kind of finish his kit. Well, other characters kind of have a finished kit already, which is his problem. And he has a very devastating combo game, especially when you have the momentum mail on, which I already do have on actually, because his dash attack starts sliding, which leads to him basically able to cover every tech option on hit. If you look at the angle this sends, right, it's just so easy. Oh dang! And then his turnaround animation is even more fluid, like Luigi. Like he has farther wave dashes in this momentum mail, and he even gets kill confirms out of this dash attack because of the momentum mail. So his character is really like crazy in advantage state, which is kind of like his biggest plus. Is his advantage state is gross. His combo game is gross, but his entire neutral until he really gets going with these kind of crazy options, it's just side B, and the side B is very good. It's one of the best pokes in neutral in the game, don't get me wrong, but it's just so like it's kind of unimpactful. If you like, it's like, okay, we're both back to neutral. It's really good because you can't really reliably parry this because of how long he can charge it, and then even on the ground he can cancel this, so he can cancel it early too on the ground. So this move for mix-up is really strong. Right, jump out of it with no hitbox, so if they parry, you open them up. But this having to be his only thing, I don't know, it's just not enough. That's really all it is. It's just not enough, because it's really good. This is a really good move. Like this really is Shovel Knight. Is this Infinite Dagger side B? Is how well can you mix up this? This is what saves him, to be honest. But that's all he's got. Ooh, that was kind of gross. Hold on. Oh my lord. Hold on, he's top tier. I didn't know he could do that. Why are Shovel Knight players not doing this? Etalus. There it is. Fuck. That is so hard. Full stream is crazy. Alright. So next on the list we have Etalus, who I love to watch, but I always feel a little bad for, because his disadvantage is the thing that keeps him, I think, from being better than this. So his neutral is really solid because it's a lot of outspacing with giant jabs. This up tilt you don't want to mess with, so you got to be careful if you want to land on him or just get opened up by him, because if he up tilts you, this has like some of the most hit stun in the game, if not like the first or second place in terms of hit stun modifier. Like in terms of what has the most hit stun, this is like up there in like top 3 moves. So you don't ever want to get touched by him up close, so you kind of have to respect him because of these giant moves. And then he has disjoints on his forward tilt. Well, I say disjoints, but really this is his only disjoint on his forward tilt. So he kind of controls the ground game really well, not even to mention his main gimmick, which is his ice he lays down. And the ice amplifies how his friction works, for one. Like this little slide he does when he's running now, or his turnaround. Or just carrying the momentum from a wave dash, right? And then mainly this dash attack. So he controls the ground really well, right? And so when he hits you, he can really hit you and keep hitting you, because he'll just always be on top of you, because even though he's like really slow when he's walking, when you just put down all this ice, you know, and then start, you know, comboing and wave dashing out of this dash attack, he's gonna be on you non-stop. So he seems like he's so good when everything is going right for Etalus, but he's so showing in his weaknesses when he gets hit. He's so big. He's the same weight value as Kragg, but his model is like way more generous in terms of like how easy it is to hit him than Kragg. Like Kragg, even though he's, you know, just as heavy, he actually is kind of slender for a big chunky boy. You know, Kragg is kind of slender, but Etalus is kind of eating or paying the price for his weight value in being this big old cube or rectangle even, you know. So that's the first thing. So it's kind of easy to like be in the groove with Etalus, and then suddenly you get like nicked, and it's like, wait, but I wasn't there, you know. And then he kind of just gets opened up at times where you know normally you probably shouldn't, solely due to his hitbox size or his hurtbox size. Other than that, this character can edge guard like nobody's business too. I gotta throw that in there before I continue with his downsides. I gotta say, this character's edge guarding is so easy because you literally just take away resources as I get tired or fucking stopped by the computer recovering. But as you're just side being for free, because normally this move is so bad on stage because if they parry it, you go into parry stun and then you kind of opened up. But this move shines when they are off stage and they can't parry it now, and they're just getting nickel and dime by this into any free follow-up. Or if they don't want to get hit by a free follow-up, they have to expend a resource like jump over or around the icicles, air dodge through the icicles, use a character-specific thing to get through the icicles. These are things people have to do to recover against Etalus, and all Etalus is doing is this, you know, and he's waiting, he's doing it again, because why not? And he's doing it again, you know, I'm saying that he's following up the moment it hits, and sometimes he's just reacting, all you air dodged after the icicle and he punches you, you know. So his edge guarding is so powerful, it's so easy. So again, when he wins neutral, because he controls the ground so well, when he wins neutral, you're like, God, I am in disadvantage, because you just go from getting comboed by this thing that's always on top of you because of the ice and like his movement speed and the way these moves linger and like connect into each other. You're just getting comboed over the place, and then he knocks you off stage because that's the only place you can go to get away from his combo. But then now you're off stage and you're getting destroyed by Icicle Fair for free, and then he's just coming back and he resets up until you're a worse disadvantage for you, because the more ice he has, the more stage control he has. So it kind of just literally snowballs out of control with him so quickly. But the moment something goes wrong for him, it can be like, sometimes you just won't see that in a game. Again, due to his hurt box being so big and his lack of landing options, meaning if I get hit for no reason by having this giant hurt box, even though I'm playing almost perfectly, right? Because sometimes these players are tasked, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes these Etalus players are tasked and it's like, what am I fighting right now? But even when they're playing like this, sometimes they just get nicked by something stupid, and now the character can't land because his nair has no disjoint, basically. His back air, I mean, it's fast, but you know, again, he's not really hitting you. Like if you have, any type of thing. Like if you're underneath him, sharking him, he can't hit you. Like this is his best option sometimes, and because it's a multi-hit, it doesn't sometimes work out for him, because if you're, like, multi-hits don't have like good knockback unless you get the final hit. So if they throw like a move that has, you know, solid knockback and you're trying to do these down airs, you're gonna trade and you're just hoping for the best, genuinely. And you maybe even threaten down B like Bowser. It's like not the best options in the, like, some of the worst landing options period in the game literally is on this character. So his disadvantage just gets out of hand for no reason, and then he goes off stage and now has this recovery where it is potentially gimpable, because he has to sit here in place and charge, and his only protection is this air dodge and the fact that his up B cannot, or is immune to projectiles. So other than those two things protecting him, he has nothing. So if he has no air dodge because you forced it, or he's recovering and he needs it and you hit him and now he doesn't have it, it is the freest hit for anybody, and now he has to try to fight with up air and like put his life on the line. And it's like, you are the most some of the most gimpable character I've ever seen in this game. Like, this is the level of gimpableness Maypul needs, in my opinion. Like, this is crazy that he suffers all this for having this giant hurt box and lack of landing options, and the fact that he doesn't have a good way to hit you on these platforms. When you're trying to plat camp him, he has to commit sometimes and then get reversaled. So it's like these things start to like, it's so perfect sometimes at Etalus when everything's going right, but then one stupid thing hits you and then you just like, why do I have to suffer this massive disadvantage? Literally. So that he's just kind of unforgiving. So Hodan is the first workshop character I have on this list, and so I'm gonna have to, so I just don't really know the game plan with Hodan outside of throw these occasionally for a mix-up and try to just use empty movement at this point to try to mix in an approach with these giant hitboxes. So his forward air and his nair are the giant hitboxes I'm mainly talking about, and sometimes it's up air. It's up air as well, even though it's not like it's not always an approaching aerial. It is an aerial with massive hitbox from above. So if you're on a platform camping him in F45, he actually can approach you with giant aerials still from below. And that's his thing, is that he kind of has a good combination of random disjoint with his forward tilt, his up air, and this random nair steam hitbox. So it's like, oh, I didn't get that, but you're opened up and now we're tech chasing even though that move is safe on parry. And it's like, what is this? Like, you know, like just some things he does, it seems a little unfair, and those are the things that I think are the reason he's actually better than Etalus and who's the other water character? What was I thinking? Oh, Sylvanos. He's not a water character, he's just a fish. But yeah, yeah, those two. I think he's better than those two because he kind of has a little some cheap stuff in here. His neutral B is actually a pretty good move in a skirmish, like wake up neutral B, because he can kind of move with it, you know? And in the air, this is even more crazy. So he really kind of has a great mix, and especially when you mix that with... Yeah, when you mix that with these. Because now you can like manipulate your spirits even. Like, this is actually kind of crazy. Like, that's what I'm saying. He's really all about getting giant hitboxes. Like, look at how big this move is in terms of hitboxes. Hold on. There it is. Like, this is a giant hitbox. Like, even if you're trading with this, like, it's just the fact that this, I mean, that's a lot of disjoint actually on the corners I've never even noticed. Like these top left and top right corners here. This is a massive disjoint that I'm talking about. Like, he's kind of just looking for these giant normals to win neutral, literally. And this is kind of low committal actually, because I think I might have finished it, but no, I didn't. So yeah, that's actually not too committal, you know, especially because like you can let go. It's kind of like a Meta Knight NATO in Brawl, but nowhere near as safe. But I mean, not being nowhere near as safe as Meta Knight NATO is still pretty safe, you know? So that's what I'm saying. It's kind of like, especially when you're weaving with this in the air, right? This is actually kind of good. You know, he's kind of got some mix. You know, he can hold how long he does this a little bit. Can you not wall jump after that? That is crazy. Oh, wow, you cannot. You're in the animation. That is crazy. You might want to buff that low key. But yeah, other than having these kind of unfair, annoying, giant, forward air, nair. Even his dash is kind of annoying sometimes because he jumps over Sylvanos down tilt for no reason. These kind of things do make him annoying because he's kind of just trying to stuff you out in neutral like a monkey would. You know, he kind of plays that Oonga Boonga pretty well actually, but it's a little more calculated than you think in this game because I mean at a certain level it's gonna obviously always be Oonga Boonga, but like the highest level he kind of is using these Oonga Boonga level hitboxes and like trying to outspace you and kind of just out bully you literally, you know, like especially at the ledge. He thrives at the ledge. I guess I know a little bit more about these characters than I thought. But yeah, and then his combo game is really unfair with this down B because on hit it cancels into, well, you can press dodge, whatever your dodge button is set to, like for parry, and he'll cancel to his flip. And this is so fucking deadly because he can do this and then flip back, and then he can just chain into itself until he ladders you to the top into his most devastating kill move, which is up B, which is like the Blanca shit, right? And this is when he just starts looking like Wrastor. And it's like, bro, when did this monkey start flying with people? Like, this is really fun, though. I'm not gonna lie. This is extremely fun. Ah, man, that was sick. But yeah, that's Hodan. You know, he's kind of a bully. You know, he's kind of a bully, but I guess his weaknesses are just that his tools just aren't as effective as the other characters. Like, this is, this little spirit here, it's like, no one really cares, you know, like what is that really doing? It's like you're kind of trying to use that to the best of your ability to like get in against what I got, but what I got is for the most part usually better than what he's trying to do, right? You can outspace a lot of his stuff and or wait for it and be more patient than him, and you can beat him in neutral pretty easily. So you're losing to people who are just better at calling you out in the moment with Hodan because he has these unfair hitboxes, but again, he kind of has to even work to, you know, charge him anyway. So I guess I kind of respect him a little more than I did before, now that I've started to really go over his kit. Alright. Now, Orcane is absolutely one of my favorite characters to play in this entire game because he's so fun. It's the fact that his moves are mixed with movement. Like, his attacks are like the most movement-oriented attacks in the game, and so you're kind of like you're moving and attacking always, and that's kind of fun. Like dash attack, he's rolling, you know what I'm saying? This goes over certain moves in the game, which makes no sense. Like Sylvanos down tilt yet again. Like this rolls over it, you know what I'm saying? Like he has movement into his stuff. Like his nair, if you if you fast fall his nair, which is this move, right? And you hold the A button and then press down, at least hold down, like while you're touching the ground, you'll bounce back up. And I don't know if they meant to like repatch this in, but after every nair bounce, he regains his double jump, and they thought that was too powerful back in the day. And I don't know if this is in the game again as like a miss. Like they missed it or acted or something, but it's back in the game, and this is broken at a disadvantage. So, because you can just mix so easily, because when he nairs, he lowers his hurt, like he already has a really small hurt box, right? And when he nairs, he lowers it even more, right? And then, if you nair bounce, you're like, you're a small ball that's falling really fast, and you're bouncing back up with a double jump back, and it's like, you know, I mean, to be honest, I think Orcane kind of needs this because the recovery is kind of shit, to be honest. But, and I'll get to that later, but this is something that is very powerful at a disadvantage that I don't know is like a glitch or not a glitch, like, you know, they didn't mean to put this in the game because this was taken out at one point. His forward air moves him backwards. It's a bubble butt, you know, literally. Like that, it's just so fun. His side B is like a fox side B with different lengths. Like there's like the middle. Well, I think there's like infinite lengths based off of when you let go of the stick. Like Sylvanos is up B and Sylvanos is side. Well, not side B, but his up B is the same. I think it's the same with Orcane's side B. There's like many middle points you can pick between the furthest and the least, which is this, right? So he's got so much movement just built into his attacks, right? And it makes him really tricky because he's the trickster. People ask, what does Orcane do? what does Orcane, what does he even do? He's a trickster. He's supposed to be a grounded zoner with this puddle, right? And he's supposed to be like, okay, if you jump in on me, this will anti-air you, and I get like a free devastating follow-up because I'm Orcane. Like, you don't want to ever be trapped in these versus Orcane because this move will kill you at like nothing. This move will kill you at nothing also. Like, you just die, literally. So you don't want to be trapped in there. So if he's saying you can't jump in front of me, because I'll say no to whatever you do. So this is what he does. He's a character that actually plays really well behind his puddle. The problem is that it doesn't really serve him in approaching people outside of this. Like, throwing it is his best approach, and if that doesn't really work out in neutral, he's left with the most bare bones kit in the game. He has the best normals in the game, if you ask me. Down tilt is the best. This is the best down tilt in the game. This is like it's like Olympia forward tilt, where if you don't DI, if you're holding out, you just die. You know, at the ledge, you just die. It's like jab, jab. Oh, you think I'm a down tilt because I want to get a kill confirm, and so you hold out, and it's like, no, I'm just gonna forward tilt, and you die at 70. It's like these are, and then this up tilt combos forever, and it's a kill confirm also. Like, he has the best, and these jabs are phenomenal. These are some of the best jabs in the game in terms of the like how big they are. Like, this is massive. This is massive range on these moves, right? Right here. Crazy. And he has that because his gimmick is kind of weak. Like, this is it. This is the epitome. Like, and then he has up B, which is so committal. Like, it's like, oh, if you really know as an Orcane, they're gonna like forget about this puddle and run over it, then you can like up B him and headbutt him and kill him at like 80, you know what I'm saying? But like, that's so committal. And this is like this is basically it outside of puddle strongs, which honestly these do help a lot, and I wish more Orcanes would use these. Even they're basically swords, because like I said, Orcane can't win neutral easily sometimes if this puddle can't make the cut, right? And so he kind of relies on these swords, these literal swords, as is F smash is a sword for him, so he can like kind of beat moves because he's not very disjointed. People often will talk about how Orcane is not a disjointed character, right? Look at his moves. It's not very disjointed. Well, I say that, but then you will get out disjointed sometimes because his moves are randomly disjointed. But for the most part, he's not a disjointed character, right? And so you need a sword sometimes to beat their, like when when the Orcane player knows they're gonna mash and attack, you can just say shut up with a sword, and you win neutral. Literally knock them off stage and then establish your ledge trap with down B here. This is really powerful. Again, this is kind of where he thrives, is when he's kind of hit you, and you know, he just kind of keeps you in disadvantage with these at the ledge, and then kind of plays off of how you get through them, you know, however he wants. And that's the thing about Orcane. He's just kind of scary at the ledge, like a shark underwater or an orca underwater. Like, that's why it's hard to say any character in this game is even bad, is because they often have something that is like a offsetter. So that's Orcane's offsetter, is that he's really tricky and elusive with these movement options, right? But he's not really aided by his kit, like his gimmick too much. So sometimes he kind of like, that's why Clairen is so hard for him, because and his recovery, oh my goodness. But Clairen is so hard for him because she kind of just stuffs out these broken normals. And then he has nothing. Literally, what is he supposed to do against a sword with a projectile or this that needs setup? Like, he literally has like so few options versus Clairen. It's kind of a miracle when an Orcane beats Clairen, no offense, but it is. And then his recovery is the most gimpable recovery in the game. The most gimpable, and it's the most abusable sometimes, because at times you kind of don't have a good puddle placement. Because the thing about this puddle is that your recovery is really only as good as the mix-ups you have, and you lose a lot of mix-ups when this puddle is really close to the ledge, because it doesn't make up B a 50-50. Because even if I'm like out here I mean, if you're standing here and you're like waiting for me to come above the ledge, or you know I can only up B here, like I just showed, you lose. Like you can just stand here. But if I have the puddle over here, you know, and I'm off stage right here, now it's a real 50-50 of will he go to this puddle or do I have to run across stage to get that little orca? You know, that's the question of Orcane. But that's what I'm saying. He's kind of limited. Because sometimes he doesn't want to up B. If you get clipped out of your double jump, you die. Like, that's what I mean by he's the most gimpable. Because if he ever doesn't have this puddle, which he sometimes uses like Thier. Like, let's say the Orcane is late or something and doesn't, and you know, kind of, or let's say Orcane thinks you're gonna like, you know, come in at him and he does this down beat and like you like, I don't know, you do something and like roll through it and hit him. And now he's off stage. Like, now he doesn't have a puddle. He has to recover. And if he gets clipped by like the stupidest thing out of his double jump, this is now his up B. This is like ice climber level, like up B. Like, you're going to die. Like that, and that's why I'm saying like, sometimes like it just feels like some of these characters just have an unnecessary disadvantage. But yeah, he's super fun though. Always is fun. Alright, so Kragg is really funny to talk about because he's actually, on paper, the worst character in the game. Because he's the slowest character in the game that's all about movement. He's like, oh, he's consistently the slowest character in a game about movement. And even though he has some of the best boxing tools in the game, and some of the fastest, you know, combo moves even somehow on this beetle. Somehow some of these, like the fastest combo moves in the game. And tilts and jabs. Like look at how fast all this stuff is actually coming out. Kind of crazy, right? It's still not enough to make up for the fact that he's so slow, right? And so a lot of times Kragg is a little pressured to press down B, which is really high risk, or pick up. Well, hold on, I'll get to that later. Or dash attack, because dash attack on whiff, you don't really get anything. You know, it's actually pretty bad on whiff because there's a lot of whiff lag. But on hit, he can immediately cancel and it tilts. You know, and that opens up his offensive combo pressure pretty easily from a dash attack. So a lot of Kraggs are honestly looking for an easy dash attack in neutral, or a down B when they don't want to put their body at risk with this whiff lag. But both options are very risky, and so sometimes Kragg feels pressure to just parry in neutral and kind of not throw out buttons. And so you kind of notice Kragg is probably the most parry-happy character in the game because his tools are so high risk that he can't really afford to approach you. So he kind of hopes you come into him because, again, his rock pull, which is his best move, well, the rock in general is his best move, and what saves him from his life of mediocrity, honestly. This move is punishable and honestly can even kill him because you're in a state where you can't tech now, and you also cannot double jump without throwing this rock first. So if you're like about to die off stage and you're in hit stun, you still couldn't survive. Like you would have to first throw the rock and then you could double jump if you were falling in the blast zone, for example. So you may just die a lot of time for picking this rock up. But even still, I say that he's this high up and better than all the characters previously listed because this rock is just that powerful in neutral. Like, it's crazy how he's easily the worst character, but once he puts this in his hands, it's like you're playing his game all of a sudden, because the mix-up potential with this is honestly kind of ridiculous because it forces parry so easily, or it forces you to move, because a lot of good players don't want to parry this because they understand that Kragg has so many options that just, you know, beat parry. I tried to grab him there, lol. But like, you have so many parry like options. Like, I can just lob this rock, and that naturally will beat the timing of a parry. Or if I know you're not gonna like parry, if you want to run at me to beat the lob, I can just fast throw it with forward throw, right? You know, and this covers high. Like, it's just so easy to cover everything with a rock sometimes. And now you're suddenly in the Kragg zone, and now you're getting dash attack into jabs, or you're like too close to Kragg in general, and he's out boxing you with these very fast normals. To be honest, like, these normals are so quick on a character that's at this quote unquote slow in terms of move speed, right? And then he has some of the most, if not arguably the best edge guarding in the game between his pebbles from this rock, covering all recovery options. Literally, there's no recovery option he cannot hit you from with this rock. There's like, these pebbles will get you, so you're not going to be able to escape his like off stage pressure or his pebbles. Like, they're gonna, like, they're at times they steal jumps, they punish air dodges, they get rid of resources, like character specific resources like smoke from Forsburn. They make Zetterburn have to restart his down special, and that may be not possible if he got hit too low, right? And so it's like these things just kind of snipe options once they're off stage, and then you force them to give you a bad recovery with a character with these hard-hitting strong attacks and coverage he can amplify again with this rock to extend the duration and the hitbox of his smash attacks. So he's very brutal, like honestly extremely punishing once he wins neutral and knocks you off stage. But so many Kragg players seem to forget how good his edge guarding toolkit actually is. Like, this is not, before he was a combo character with ZB, he was an edge guard character with Turtle Box, and he was better at being an edge guard character because he was more consistent at edge guarding than anything else. I'm just not a fast Kragg player, but this character is the type that you need to edge guard with more than combo with, I'd say. And because this rock again exists, I think it saves him from this level of mediocrity with just down B as a mix-up in neutral to dash attack, like, and then just empty movement or parrying as an opening. Literally, that's how he gets in, or just delaying this fair. These are like his best options. That is so terrible. These are his best neutral options. Delayed fair using everything. Sometimes this side B is used as like a parry bait. Like, this is, I'm saying, this is so high risk if the player like actually plays around this by jumping. But Kragg, when he turns his side B, he loses his hitbox, and so if you're thinking he's gonna hit you with this side B, you would parry, right? But if he turns at you, he has no hitbox. So during that spin, you would basically waste your parry, and then your parry frames would be going away at the end, and then his hitbox would start up again and then punish the parry with the same moves, you know? And this move is jump cancelable on hit, so, you know, he get a free combo. And these are his best neutral win moves. Literally, parry, delayed fair, rock pull, down B dash attack. You know? So I can't put him any higher than this, but once he gets this rock in his hand, he is a different type of beast. He is. Okay, so Mollo, I feel like he's a very unexplored character. That may just be due to my lack of workshop knowledge in general with these, like the workshop 4. But he feels like probably the most unexplored. And it's funny because I feel like they've already found out a lot of things with him, the Mollo players, I mean. But yeah, his setup game is kind of unreal between the flash bomb, the default bomb, and firecracker. They're all kind of ridiculous, to be honest. I wouldn't say that. I'm just gonna say they stream. Oh my god, that was, oh my lord. The thing about Mollo that makes him kind of hard to really rank is that he's really a character that plays off a parry or their parry mechanic so heavily. It's like, it really just comes down to how well can this Mollo player mix your parry timing, because he loses pretty hard to parry. Well, I want to say he loses pretty hard to parry, but in a lot of cases, parry shuts down his most powerful openers, and so it really comes down to how well can the Mollo player mix your parry timing, I feel, and how well you can keep up with the Mollo player's mix, or just ignore his mix entirely with your character's game plan. That's kind of the thing. And then his recovery with the bomb, it just seems pretty solid. I don't know, like, again, he seems like a very average-ish character. I don't really know where to say. That's why I put him so low. Like, what he does to me, I don't really care about. Like, this move is kind of good at killing, especially. This move is kind of annoying. That move is probably his best kill move, the down air. It doesn't really have that much hit pause and is pretty generous on the spike hitbox. But I'm not really threatened by Mollo. I don't really know. He just kind of feels like a maybe like a different flavor of Ranno, but albeit a little worse because he's so projectile oriented, and his take a little bit more time, unlike darts, which are more like on the go projectiles, you know. So I don't know. I feel like that level of setup slows him down enough to where he's a little bit more manageable. And his overall move speed is pretty average too, so you don't really have to worry about him being able to either outrun you or just get in super easily with these really strong normals. Because he's really powerful normals in terms of just hitboxes. His hitbox on these normals are crazy. Alright, so next we have Clairen on the list, and I absolutely love Clairen, from her aesthetic to her soundtrack, like her theme I mean, to her stage design. Literally, she's so sick. Even her game plan is really sick, because it's very respectable in that she's mainly just trying to weave her way in and out of your threat zone with this giant sword, and once she gets in, that really is where she starts to shine, because at tip range, you know, she gets the stun mechanic on all her moves, except her grab. Hashtag wait till rivals 2. You would think a character with a stun mechanic on a sword would be probably the most egregious thing to put in a plat fighter. But the thing, especially because I'm calling her like honest, but the thing that makes her like fair is that she has a really hard time killing consistently. And I think that's like the best like balanced decision they could have ever made, because it lets the Clairen players still be cool as fuck with their combo game. But to get the kill, you really gotta be perfect. You gotta be perfect. Like, you gotta be perfect. And I think that's so cool. But a lot of times, Clairen players are not perfect. And so, they'll get like a lot of the combo. They'll do like a free 80%, right? But then, you're just kind of stuck at 150. And then they just can't kill you. And so they have to keep playing these like out fundamental neutral in a game where she does not have a gimmick to like make up for you having a gimmick, and she kind of like relying on a counter to stop a gimmick is not always reliable, especially depending on like certain matchups. So she not having a gimmick sometimes to deal with a game built around gimmicks is sometimes a hindrance for her. And she can kind of make up for that with her crazy movement. You know, this ledge boost is absolutely the best in the game. Maybe Ori, but even still, this is unreal in terms of how far she goes with a ledge boost. Like, this is a real approach option. This is a strong approach option. This is probably her best approach option, is just ledge boost into blank option. You can either empty hop, right? Tomahawk, right? You can do that out of this, which can bait a parry, right? You can do a delayed down air, which will also beat a parry, right? This nair will beat a parry. That's what I'm saying. Like, she kind of just, her moves are kind of lined up in a way that's beautiful off of a ledge boost, because it gives her perfect timing to beat a regular panic parry. And that's when she gets in for free for a lot of people, and that's when she starts to be like really good. But again, her, even with all of that, she still has to like kind of kill you, and that's not easy. Like, I will say, after they buffed her down smash to send you like directly up, it's made killing with her significantly easier. But if you're not landing that weak down smash like that into this, if you are, and that's still in Galaxy, but in Orcane would though, you know what I'm saying? Like, this combo, there you go, right? That was like probably the apex of like the up tilt or the down smash. Like, she has to hit that now. Like, it's kind of crazy they gave her that, and it's kind of not that hard to land, as you can see. But she has, like, that's like all she has to try to like make this look like competitive, to be real. Because if you're living everything, and now I'm starting to get frustrated, and now I'm not landing my tippers, it's like, bro, like, this gets worse as it keeps going for both of us. Like, just end it. Like, at a certain point, it's almost like Clairen is asking you to kill her, because it's like she's taking too long to kill you, literally. And it kind of feels bad to watch it sometimes. But that's why I say yet again, Clairen is a very honest character, because she has to do all that work a lot of the time. And then her recovery is something that takes a lot of timing manipulation to avoid a lot of shit. Like, You have to be, and even I almost had it, but you have to do that level of fucking of finesse to get above this ledge while delaying a parry. Like literally, it's so hard. You have to be raw with Clairen. You gotta be pristine and precise with this bitch to even recover against parry, literally. So she doesn't have to come above this ledge and all this freeform lag, or free fall lag, and then have to go through parry stun while they're charging a smash attack. You know, like while you're trying to recover. Like that is hard. She has a really hard recovery. She has to do a lot of thinking, and that's why I'm saying yet again, she's a very fair character, because if you call out any of that, she can just die, and that's why her recovery is sometimes just like broken, because it's like, bro, how I deal with this giant sword up B? Like, look at how big, this is the biggest hitbox move in this game. Look at this move. This is the biggest hitbox move in this game. Like, this is like 4 Sylvanos, 3 of Sylvanos in one move. Like, this is crazy. This is the biggest hitbox move in this game. And so sometimes her recovery looks super broken to people, because it's like, how am I supposed to edgeguard this giant fucking sword, you know? What the fuck do you want me to do? And it's like, oh, you have to parry. But then you realize the Clairen player can still mix up the timing on the upbeat, you know what I'm saying? So when do you parry? You don't know. But again, if you actually get it, she's fucked a lot of the time, and that's what I'm saying. She's kind of risky. She really does play with her advantage. She's very fair in that sense, but she's very strong though, because her combo game, when you are on fire, is kind of fucked up. Like this into like tipper, and then you're gonna die on bad DI. Like there's so many things she can do to you with this extension from the stun, right? Like she's a perfectly balanced character in my head. All right, so I think I actually dropped Sylvanos a couple spots from my last tier list, but I feel like that's actually for the better, and I feel like this spot is actually perfect for him, because he's kind of like Clairen and like well, he's kind of like Clairen and Ranno in the sense that he's very fair. Sylvanos, he has a lot of bullshit range, right? Like really bullshit. Like look at the range I'm hitting this guy at, right? Insane. Look at that. Like crazy range. You know, even from here, I'm still hitting you. Like I have all this range. And so he's kind of annoying. Even at here, you're not safe in a sense, right? So very annoying character in terms of range. And what range really means is basically I get to cut through your defense, because range is speed, right? And what speed does is that it allows you to bypass defense in the game about movement, because we don't have shields to like basically nullify like you moving around. Like basically a shield will protect you, but we don't have shields to protect ourselves. We have to move to protect ourselves, right? So if you're faster than me in a sense, then you're actually eliminating my defense, because I can't outrun that, right? So that's essentially what the point of range is. I'm outspeeding you in a sense. Like I'm there already is what range is saying in a sense. I'm already there. So that's why range is so powerful, because it means he's kind of aggressive. It means he actually sets the pace a lot of the time. And once you understand that, it kind of becomes hell for your opponent, because it's like giant swords between this fair and this down tilt mainly. And then this down tilt is so fast, it's so good that a lot of people, and it's so annoying, and that's really important that it's annoying, and it's so annoying that people like to just jump, because why would you stay on the ground versus this? Or they try to parry, which I hate, and that's why this character is kind of like a little risky, is because he's so susceptible to parry, and that's why I kind of despise that mechanic. But yeah, this move is really annoying, so they're kind of limited into what they can do, which is just parry and kind of jump. But when they jump, you have the best anti-air potentially in the game with Howl. This move covers, well, wherever there's grass, this Howl will come alive and attack you. And the closer you are to Sylvanos, the faster the grass comes out. So you have to be mindful of even just coming back down once you're in the air, because if there's grass underneath you, this girl is picking. This is why I hate this floaty bitch. Right? Kind of like that. And so you can't really just land in certain spots. I mean, that was a combo, but just to demonstrate how high the Howl actually hits, you can't just come down and land in spots so willy-nilly if you want to. Like, it makes it so jumping is kind of a committal option versus Sylvanos, because then you allow him to just run across the stage real quick, put down a flower, and now you're gonna come down here eventually to hit me, and I'm just do this, and then you're gonna get hit by these into like my advantage. So he kind of controls neutral in that way really well. And then his combo game is really disgusting. When you're really feeling it with Sylvanos, he can kind of just blender people to death. And then his biggest weakness, I gotta say though, is the lack of boxing option. This character it's kind of like Etalus, honestly. That's why I always say that Etalus and Sylvanos have so many similarities between how their down B functions and that it's a wave. From the fact that when like the grass and ice are kind of similar, and the fact that it applies to my down B specifically, and it also enhances my movement in a sense. Like mine is side B, which is jump cancelable, and Etalus is dash attack, which is jump cancelable. So I've always thought of Etalus and Sylvanos very similar. The disadvantage is pretty similar, where it's like as Sylvanos sometimes I'm not saying Sylvanos players are perfect, because I'm definitely not perfect. I'm lazy some of the times when I play this game now. Like you'll be trying to bait and punish as Sylvanos, like a Wrastor would, right? But because of your natural wide hurt box, unlike Kragg, you will be nicked sometimes, and then that will start a disadvantage state. And in this game, not having solid boxing options, like solid like get off me moves, you basically are for free extending your disadvantage. So he kind of has to, a lot of times, give up even the option to fight and just choose to run away or retreat. That's why he has some of the longest and most invincible rolls in the game, because he's not allowed, he can't fight, he really can't. And not being allowed to fight in this game, in a game with no shields especially, means you kind of just get bullied, because these are, like, if you trade with his up tilt, it's a multi-hit. If you trade with his forward tilt, it's a multi-hit. Trade with this down tilt, you can't, well, you can trade with it for sure, but what I'm trying to say is that there's a huge missing hitbox above this down tilt that for some reason a lot of moves just naturally go above it, like I was naming throughout this video. So like, you kind of just have these random situations that just open you up for free, and then the mechanics of the game don't even allow you to fight back or defend yourself really without heavily committal options like a roll or parry. You know, these are committal options. This is all he's got in this game, and that basically says his disadvantage will be extended where other characters won't. That this character has a blind spot. So like Kragg, Sylvanos actually also has a Kragg zone in like this area right here. So in between Sylvanos' tail and this back air, he cannot hurt you. So if you're sharking him and you stay at this back area that is under his back air, this is the lowest my back air can go. My down air goes in front at a 45-degree angle. He has zero hitbox here in his kit that can hurt you. This is what I mean. Like he is forced to take more in his disadvantage than other characters because he can't cover himself. He cannot fight back. He has to choose to just get hit more and just worry about the DI after, literally, and then think about how to come back and recover after. These reasons make it so he kind of feels sometimes forced to shotgun these laggy committal options, because if you get in his face, he's fucked. In case you just run at me, I might not have an option to deal with that, because on trade, this is fucked. This is fucked. This won't hit. This won't hit. I have to commit to this, which has some startup, right? I have to preemptively commit to these options sometimes. And that's what I'm saying. He's sometimes risky because of that. And so even though you're trying to play like a perfect defensive neutral with him, he still forces you to kind of go in and commit. And that's why he's here. This is what makes him fair. This is why I say like Clairen is fair. He is fair because he can't box you at all. So Elliana, she seems like she's very like explosive in the sense, like pun intended, but explosive in the sense that she kind of just wants to hit you and kill you, like from like her crazy just combos, like just being able to fly right and then take you with her as she's flying into the air and then smash attack you when she overheats as an ender and then just recover for free. That's kind of like what Elliana wants to do in a lot of ways, and a lot of times she kind of does, but she also can play very defensive keep away with this steam here, right? And this is honestly so obnoxious to deal with, and Elliana players don't even use it. Like, they don't even use it, and it's because her 0 to death game plan is just better, you know, or easier to do than to micromanage Steam throughout the course of a game with these fans that manipulate the Steam's win current or whatever. So like dash attack or whatever, you know, instead of doing that, they would rather, you know, wait and then kind of like open you up with the missile, or just kind of work their way in from the air with down air, right? Because once this down air hits, it's kind of like the world is here. You hit fall, and then you can do whatever, and so she can just finish you off pretty easily when she doesn't have this overheat. And it makes her really frustrating to deal with because you always feel like at any moment this Elliana player could just push a button and then you just die, literally. So yeah, unfortunately she's very simple in how her game plan is actually done after all this time. She doesn't really have to do the zoning that like her kit was honestly intended to do. It's more so just focused around the 0 to death Bayonetta stuff between like Fair and Neroff stage. Yeah, that was it, to be honest. I'm just bad at Elliana. But yeah, to each their own though. I mean, I just not my type of character, but that's what she does. She just kind of 0 to death. Okay, yeah, I guess her biggest weakness is that her disadvantage is like the worst in the game, like genuinely some of the worst disadvantage you can imagine sometimes on this character, because if she's overheated she cannot fly, and so if you knock her off stage, this is her double jump, and then she's kind of just forced to up B, right? And then her model is already so big that it makes her combo food, or easy, just not even that combo food, but just naturally makes her easy to hit. And then she's very floaty, and so she kind of lines herself up pretty early in percent, like at around 90. She puts herself, due to her floaty weight, into like kill points. Like if Ranno was to like fair her at like 90 on the stage, it would spike her into the air into the freest up smash, and that's due to her being so floaty. And then Zetterburn, Shine Up Strong, would kill her earlier than Kragg and Etalus, even though they share the same weight value, solely because she's so floaty. And that's what I'm saying, like she's kind of like, her disadvantage is really terrible, you know. Like when you don't have an overheat, sometimes it's fine because you can fly away, you know, but don't let yourself get hit there, because you know it can just snowball into worse after worse after worse thing with her. And that's why it's hard to put her higher than this, and that's what I'm saying, if the Elliana players actually play a little more safer and neutral, they probably would never experience that, because they'd be too busy managing their heat as intended with this because when you smash attack with Elliana, when she's not overheated, you're actually releasing your steam. And so you're supposed, like the way she's intended is that she's supposed to be moving these around the stage while constantly keeping her bar low, and then she's pushing this towards you and you have to deal with it because she's a zoner, you know? Like, she's a zoner. So that's like the idea. But yeah, so that's Elliana. So Ranno is a character that honestly, for my last tier list, hasn't changed too much in the way I view him. His landing is still pretty mediocre because his lack of disjoint. His recovery is still kind of mediocre in the sense that if you cover a wide area at the right time, he doesn't have a good option to combat it, and he's kind of forced to be rinse repeated at times, and it feels really bad. Other than that though, Ranno has an extremely safe neutral. The reason why he's called a pacifist is because he doesn't have disjoint, right? So in a sense, he can't fight because he'll trade and lose the trade. So they give him these darts to keep you at bay and halt your movement. This is what makes him a pacifist. He's in a sense saying, we're not fighting, right? We're not fighting, we're not fighting, we're not fighting. Like, that's Ranno in a nutshell. He just doesn't want to commit in neutral too much because he's also light. This is what I'm saying. Ranno is such a fair character. He has so many weaknesses. He's light. He has very obvious kill setups between run off fair, wall jump into your recovery and then fair, or the classic dart fair, albeit he needs at least 2 darts, I believe, charged before he can do a confirmed dart fair. And this up B, it is disjointed, so you have to watch out as he's like recovering next to you and be ready to tech it. Otherwise, you're putting yourself in the perfect position to be up B fared, so you have to be on the lookout for that. And again, he needs wall jump fair when he thinks you're going to use your wall jump so he can kill you as early as possible. And if you look out for those 3 setups, and if you put you on one of his platforms, he just dacuses, right? So you have to be aware of like those 4 things specifically, those 3 fair setups, and are in a raw dacus in neutral, raw dacus. This is why you don't randomly jump against Ranno if you've been you don't spam jump against Ranno, because if they get the pattern down, they're gonna catch the jump with the sweet spot dacus. So if you remember those 4 things, he'll never kill you ever. I just don't understand how you're losing to Ranno. Like, what is he hitting you with that's killing you? Like, backer out of hit stun is the only other thing I can think of. Like, he has such a hard time killing people in this game at this point because his setups are so obvious. So obvious. Like, his best setup is probably down tilt, up smash. So if you can't get these down tilts, you're not killing with this character. You're really not. That's how I feel about Ranno. He's very fair. I don't understand. He has so many weaknesses between his recovery, his lack of kill setup / options, his lightness, his lack of landing options, his lack of disjoint. Like, there's so many weaknesses here to exploit. It's kind of fun fighting him, is it not? I don't understand. All right, so Pomme, she actually kind of plays so different than what I thought she would play like. So she does float. I knew she'd float, but the way she floats is mainly by coming in after setting up either this float thing here and then throwing these things from here and then floating in and out of this, like, which is not, again, not how I expected at all. Then she also is really heavily reliant, more so than I ever thought she would be, on Vince to really win neutral for absolutely free. And the timing mix-ups this has is enough to make parry not a valuable or not a reliable option. Pomme, she doesn't really have a lot of time to set up her gimmick in the heat of a match, right? Like, if you're on stage normally, right, trying to set this up is kind of like asking to get hit, because you kind of you're singing in the spot when not being able to attack, like this, the little animation. And like, it just takes time to set up these notes too, right? Like, all this takes time to set up. So a lot of time, once the Pomme player wants to set these things up, I noticed they actually take to off stage, and now they'll set up this thing, which I think gives them back this float. Yeah, so Pomme, she can float once, make this note, and then up B into it, and if she touches that, she gets her float back again for a short period of time. Basically, her song field is better off stage, actually, because now she can hover and charge these notes, and now she can come back, and if that doesn't work out, she can just retreat back to the dang song field and just start over and over and over. And then if you get too aggressive, she's like throwing Vince at you, because in the air, Vince can't even be parried. So it's like, if you want to commit to her, she doesn't. Look at that. Like, she's retreating while throwing her bodyguard at you for free. It's so disgusting. Like, that is so gross. That was a kill confirm in an up air, if you can see it. Like, that's essentially what it feels like to play against her the whole match. And it's really tiresome. But it's really good too. I don't really know. It's the only reason I put her this low is because I think she just doesn't cheese you as hard as the characters above. A lot of characters in this tier kind of have like cheese options that keep them that put them here actually. And for her, it's really this like ability to float and like stand like off the stage and just not play the game. Literally not play the game. Like, why would you play the game when you can just, nope, don't touch me, and then like for some reason yet again get another one while just yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just so much to play around out here. It's kind of insane. You know, and then get my thing, and there's Vince, and like, that's so. This is how Pomme plays. I played against Tabsky, and this is how I figured out. This is how she plays. She mainly just foregoes the conventional neutral approach, which is the fight on the stage, and she takes to off stage and makes you fight her out here while doing this crazy stuff. So next on my tier list, I have Absa. Absa, she's probably the most under talked about character in the game, and it's kind of scary to me because she's so good at controlling the pace of the game. It's because this Cloud. Even Wrastor has to think twice a lot of the time about how he wants to approach an Absa, because this Cloud is so good at disrupting conflict. In the air, you cannot parry this Cloud, so if you're trying to approach her and she's playing around this, she's retreating around this, she's playing around this, right? You're not going to touch her because this thing will touch you first, and then she can, God forbid, ping pong you off of it. Like, let's say you run a little too far and then, you know, you're in between her like this. Oops. Sorry, like this. Oh my gosh. Like that, but in the air, essentially. Like, the Cloud will give her a free follow-up, and so it's like a mine you don't really want to fuck around with because you might get ping-ponged, literally. And it's just absolutely annoying because while you're respecting that, she can just come down whenever she wants. And then trying to parry an Absa? Trying to parry Absa is basically just saying, please hit me, Absa. Because when she does this, and she's waiting, right? She's waiting, like she's waiting, right? All this air mobility, right? Like, even if at the very last effort, I use my double jump, use my air dodge, use my neutral beat, use pop neutral beat, I can still float left to right so much. Like, there is no commitment here. There's no commitment here. There's no commitment. Still, no commitment. And so the Absa is looking at you, waiting. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Down there. Once the parry comes out, right? You're just scared. When is she gonna hit me? And God help me if you get nared by her. This move is the most under talked about move in the game in terms of what the fuck it does to you. This is like the best nair in the game. Like, look at this. Like, look at that plus frame even when you cancel it from behind. Like, this is the most quality of life attack in the game. This move, never cancel this move. Never do that. So many Absas miss out on an enormous amount of damage because they want to get fancy and do something like Nair 1 tech chase. Ooh, no, you're just supposed to let the move rock, and then you get so much. There's so much hit stun on this move, it is kind of ridiculous. And then from underneath a platform, it auto cancels with U+. So this is true. That's true. Like, that's insane. Let it go. Let it do it. Like, everyone tries to be tasked in this game. Everyone's trying to press all these buttons and hitfall. Everyone's trying to press all these buttons and hitfall and do all this crazy shit in Rivals of Aether because that's the game will let you do it, right? The game lets you cancel this nair to do more nairs. It lets you do this shit, right? But for Absa, I highly suggest you just let the move go. Just let it finish. It does 13 per nair. Look at it, and then you can follow up so easily. And then again, if you end up on a platform, you get a free move because it's quality of life. Sylvanos' nair, for example, would never do something that like his nair would never be this consistent. And that's when I started to notice how good her nair was. And then when you mix up her sour dare in her advantage state, like rising sour dare. Oh, I want to do a sour dare. Like, you can start, especially at high percentages, she starts gaining kill confirms with sour dare. Like, straight up. Like, I am passionate about how much Absa is being underrated. It's kind of scary to me. Like this, like that. Like, sour dare is so nuts, and no Absa uses it. No Absa finishes their nair, and then they're like, this character has a hard time killing because she can't get a fair. And it's like, because you won't let the move finish. You keep trying to do these weird tech chase shit. Let the move finish. Do another one if they're not behind. Do another one if he's not teching. Like, this move is broken. This move is so ridiculously free. And you think they're gonna know how to DI out of this after you catch 2 or 3 DI with this? Now they're fucked. And now you get a free opening with something else because they're not ready. Like, her advantage state is deadly. I used to think that she was balanced because her advantage state wasn't that high. Because all Absa players did was this. And then let you go and let you tech chase. Like, it's like, what are you doing? You get the move. There you go. Like, you can actually feel it out if you actually space, especially when you finish the nair in the air, because you can drift one way to cover one DI, and if they give you the other DI, she just floats back, and then she weaves back in with another move, or she does this into another move. Like, she can catch it all. She can catch it all, literally. So you just finish the nair and watch stocks blow up. See what I'm saying? Like, look at this bitch try to kill. Like, this is how it goes, literally. But as a heavy, it's even easier to land that kind of stuff on you. So, Absa is gross. Alright, so Zetterburn's kind of an easy one, thankfully. So, essentially... Oh. Alright, so Zetterburn, he kind of is the same as he was before, where he kind of is just getting in a lot and keeping you in disadvantage with a lot of frame traps, or just killing you outright. Literally. So, you have to manage a lot of fundamental tools with Zetter, because he doesn't have a gimmick that is going to really it's not as, like, his gimmick isn't as versatile, but his fireball is still so powerful to just have, because at mid-range you can start being unreactable fireballs and then start like some pressure from here. Even far away, if you want a camper, they're decent. They're not good, really, but they're decent because you just don't want to go over there. But yeah, fireballs actually make his neutral really streamlined. And even if you know what the Zetterburn is looking for, it's like you still have to play around it. So I don't know. Zetter's fireball is really just a lot of his neutral, because otherwise he's just kind of trying to trade to get in, because he has a lot of speed, but his he has a lot of speed and he has a decent amount of disjoint, but the disjoint is on top of very stubby normals. So like these like claws like on the ends or tips of his moves that kind of give him a decent amount of disjoint, surprisingly. So he'll just beat certain things, which I think is fine, like especially forward tilt, right, which is just fine. But the thing again is that these are on very stubby moves, so like he kind of sometimes has to trade still just to get in, and that's not always the most reliable thing, because you can trade with something and die sometimes in this game, you know. So it's not reliable always to want to trade with somebody, because some of these characters are just not characters you want to get hit by in general. Ooh! No. But yeah, Zetterburn's kind of a very clean character. Like, he's like really fundamentals based. Fireball, projectile focus sometimes when he needs to like slow down the pace of the game, or if he needs to just get in, he can mix up timing of fireballs to make you like get you off the ground sometimes, even, and make you kind of just in a weird spot, and then he can kind of work his way in from there. So he's just really standard. He's just a perfect character. Like, you need a little bit of disjoint, you need some speed, you need some kill power, you need some combo moves, you need some disjoint with back air, and you need some early kills. Like, I don't know, like whatever you need, he's got you. You need to get off me tool. I got you. You know, Shine is here. So he just kind of all-rounder, straight up. All-rounder. Ori is kind of fallen off to me lately. And it's not that he's really changed all too much. I just think the meta has gotten way further than he really can deal with. Maybe it's what it feels like, because I don't know. I don't really want to put like a narrative on that, but it just feels like Ori is not as threatening as he used to be. So Ori kind of has a very strange style of bait and approach as his main game plan. He kind of just wants to charge this orb called Sign, And because Sign follows his movements, they kind of bait where they go, like as if Ori will hit you. And then he has a very devastating kill confirm with Nair Bash. But at the same time, Ori is really hard to pilot, solely because his lightness, like he is very light. And on top of that, his recovery is pretty bad because this... Okay, so what makes Ori's recovery bad, because some people don't know, I used to not know actually, I used to think his recovery is actually pretty good because once he did this, he could just, you know, keep opening this umbrella, which has a hitbox, like this, and that's annoying, to protect himself from above, and then he also can, like, weave in when he comes down, and once he touches the ground, he's completely lagless. So I used to think this recovery was actually not even that bad, but it actually is, and I know that only because Backpack, a really good player who mains Ranno, he was telling me that the moment Ori does up B, they're fucked. Like that brief moment where he has to unload this parasol. This moment, this entire duration, he is fucked. He's 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 fucked. Now he's not fucked. That is why his recovery's bad. And so you actually gain all those extra frames to hit him with something kill like deadly, like a Forsburn down air, a Sylvanos back air, like some devastating, hard-hitting kill moves can be done the moment you wait for this character to hit up B. It's like Kragg pulling up a pillar. It's like you're waiting for the pillar, wait for the pillar. Oh, he up B, he pillared, and then you back air, kill him. That is when Ori's recovery is bad. So you kind of have to be in position to punish his up B. Otherwise, his recovery will look... Well, he'll have more mix-ups, essentially. So you kind of have to be aware of that. That moment, at least. That this dash attack is his main whip punish tool. Yeah. And he has a solid projectile, too. So, like... It's kind of bland with Ori, but it's just so powerful. Because, like... I'd argue him and Shovel Knight are kind of similar in the sense that their mechanic isn't really, like, you can't really work off their mechanic too well. Like, there's really nothing Ori can do with Sign, like, at all, except charge it with neutral special and smash attack when Sign is near Ori to get an empowered version of the smash attack. And that's kind of it in terms of, like, your gimmick, literally. Like, that's it. I guess these come in for like knockback, disruption, like that, right? But it seems more like a actual, like, pretty mediocre, to be honest. Because a lot of times you're giving, like, as Ori, you're like giving the opponent the option to fight back. So if you're fighting a masher, you don't want to do something like this because they're gonna be mashing, and mashing is very common in this game. So doing something like this is kind of stupid because now you're giving up your hit stun for a mix-up that they're just mashing out of anyway. But sometimes obviously it comes through when they're not thinking about it. So it is good at times too, but it is very niche in comparison to like other characters. So he's kind of bare bones in like what he's doing. He's again relying on good normals and this crazy airspeed and this sack. And the fact that Sign is going to follow him and help him win neutral when he doesn't want to go in yet. Forsburn is not okay. I don't know how many buffs this character has gotten, but honestly, it was too much the moment they made this down strong stronger. That was the patch that really kind of... I mean, there's a couple things. So, Forsburn, for one, his game plan is that he has his smoke, right? It is his most powerful tool in neutral because it obscures vision, which means he has free mix-ups in here. And not only is it a free mix-up from the smoke, but you also have another platform. Like, this smoke, in a sense, is another platform because he can kind of stay up here and stall and like plat drop aerial in a sense with his own smoke. Like, I used to say this character's neutral was so predictable because all he did, literally every Forsburn player used to do was this. Literally, just come down with these aerials and try to start a combo. Or whatever, literally. So it's kind of crazy that that they just kind of found out how to keep doing it without a platform, because if you keep calling out this jump here, right, they're gonna get smacked off over and over, and they're gonna look pretty stupid, and that's what was happening back in the day. But now this smoke is here so that they can kind of just do the same thing, but from a different layer, a more versatile angle, and a more like timing vary. Like, it's kind of gross that this is just a second. This is another platform for Forsburn, is what this smoke is. It's a second platform for him to stall in. Like, Plat Drop Ariel the character is still Plat Drop Ariel the character, you know? So that's what I've learned about Forsburn. So they've kind of just upped the level, or upped the ante on how he can approach you with just releasing smoke when you don't let him come in. And now this clone is something you really do have to worry about, because it really could just be him. And then you could get opened up because if you don't hit that clone, right, and it's the real Forsburn, you have to deal with his ridiculous jab game, and even his cape wins neutral for free a lot of the time. Like, this is insane range to be poking from, and you're a dagger oriented character. This is kind of crazy, because it also got buffed to connect 99% of the time. Like, there's like, unless you hit on the very tip of this forward smash nowadays, this dagger won't connect. But if you don't hit the very tip of it, it's going to connect. So like right here, it's gonna connect. So, or even, no, not here, that was a tip. Here, that'll be fine. Like, so you have to deal with like this annoying cape mix up, especially if you like it's closer with this. Then you get the down tilt mix up, right, with DI, and so that's annoying. But then also his jabs are so annoying because they're free tech chases and they're giant and they hit inside of him, so he doesn't even have to space these properly to get a ridiculous ground advantage started. And it's funny because like the way you deal with his combo game is simply by holding out. But eventually you're gonna be tired of this scenario right here. Like when he just edge trapping you like this the whole time. He just like, no, you're not coming back because my disjoint, my powerful disjoint, right? And my clone also to force options. So like, because he's like being annoying, sometimes you want to just hold in, because holding out results in like an annoying edge guard until you die. And so you hold in, and now you're getting comboed by Forsburn, and it's very obnoxious. Or whatever, you know. Like, you can't just keep holding in against him. Like, you're gonna get fucked up. So the fact that his ledge trap is so powerful, it makes him kind of annoying always, because he's either comboing you or ledge trapping you the whole game, or he's making you guess which one is real. You know, he's making you guess what's gonna happen, you know. So he's actually really powerful because his mix-up potential is almost free, because there are certain things you have to do because this clone might be him, that you kind of have to pick sometimes a bad option in case it is him, and you might get killed by like a back air or a down strong, or like you might just get hit by something. You sometimes have to like preemptively commit to some other option to avoid him, and that's exactly what he wants. He wants you to play into him, and that's why he has this deception with the clone. Like, he can make it not approach you at all. He can make it go after you like this. He can make it run away right after, you know. He can make it fall off the stage. Yep. So you can drop zone the clone like that. So drop zone clone, blow it up, pressure from below. So yeah, Forsburn, he kind of just nickel and dimes you the whole game, constantly. The whole game, and he's kind of safe the whole time, because if he's been playing correctly and setting up his smoke to get in, when you hit him, he now has smoke to play with, and you either have to break the smoke, which gives him time to recover, or you commit to him and hope you get him, because if you don't, then he gets their smoke to recover to for free. And that's when he's like super annoying. The only weakness of this character is, funny enough, still his recovery. After all these years, his recovery still sucks. And it's because he takes time to recover. He has to set up this smoke. This takes time to set up. Like, he's one of the only characters in the game that will punish you for not going off stage to get rid of his resource. You have to go off stage to edgeguard Forsburn, because if you let him set this stuff up, he comes back for free too often. You have to go out, you have to swat at him, you have to throw something at him. You cannot let him just make this smoke for free, because not only will he get his double jump back if he upbeats into it one time off stage, but he will also just have the mix-up potential of, is that the clone or is that him? Is like, because if he air dodges also, well, this is a lot of things you can just shut down by getting rid of the smoke. Just know that. And a lot of people choose for some reason to stay on the ledge because every other character doesn't gain as much from setting up off stage as Forsburn does. So everyone's kind of comfortable standing here letting Forsburn recover for free, and then they're like, dang, he had his double jump again, and it's like you let him do everything. So it's very important to go out there to swat at this smoke, or swat at him and make him use an option like double jump. If he has no double jump, he's so fucked on recovery, right? So you have to make him burn his double jump. You have to make him burn his air dodge. You have to make him burn his smoke and clone or whatever, or at least his clone, because his clone has a large cooldown now. So it's like you have to make him burn these resources, otherwise his recovery is free. And then when he comes back, when he reappears into the air and then he lands, he has 10 frames of lag where he can't move. But if he reappears on the ground, he has 20 frames of lag before he can move. And so either way you look at it, he's fucked, because he has to reappear in the air, then fall, then go through 10 frames. Or I reappear on the ground and I go through 20 frames of end lag and then I die. You know, like I get smash attacked. Like, or I get parried and then I get extended, you know, smash attacks, like charged. Like, it's so bad if he has to be on stage like that. It's so bad, but no one makes him do it because people are letting him recuperate his double jump and let him get his clone and let him fall down slowly and nicely, and let us, like, you can't let Forsburn set up that smoke or he'll have a free recovery every time. And then you start to see his recovery is actually what keeps him from being a top 3+ character, actually. Okay, so this character boils my blood effortlessly. This character can be summed up very easily by saying this is grounded Wrastor, and it's pretty easy once you realize how potent Gem is. It's like Slipstream. Once it's out, you gain a current, but instead of a current, you gain this field. And then on hit of this gem, I mean, it interrupts what you were doing before, like Wrastor Slipstream. And also, in the air, as a conversion, it's gonna be kind of hard to land this on Maypul here. Like, you can get like gem fares. Like, if you have the right spacing in a certain scenario, you can land these gem continuations as if you're playing Wrastor straight up. So a lot of people call her grounded Wrastor. That is a huge nerf, though. And these gem conversions were even smoother before they nerfed them in like a recent patch, because she was doing like gem into whatever so much easier back then, even. So her whole thing is that she is a mash happy character in a game where no one can shield mash happy characters, and her moves are giant in a game where we don't have shields to shield against these giant mashing moves. That is essentially the problem with her fucking character design. What is she doing with this spammable nair, and it has the audacity to have this kind of hitbox? The second hit has the same like disjoint. Why is it so big and it lingers forever? Like, that's what I'm saying. There's no precision needed here. It's just I don't know what to do. Approach with landing, linger. Like, look at how early I started this nair. I'm nowhere near you, yet it's covering this entire space for this long. This is free. This is so huge. Like, this is like a sex kick in terms of how long this is lasting. This nair is lasting almost sex kick period of time. Crazy. And again, the range is so stupid. Like, Ranno doesn't even have this level of disjoint. Even her spike is spammable. Look at this. Like, you're going to tech, you're going to tech, you're gonna tech, you're gonna, like, and it does so much damage, and it's just so big. Like, why? 14? This free, easy move to land that's spammable is 14 damage. Like, look at the hit stun. Like, it is so laughable how easy it is to follow up off of anything she does, because she puts you in a, like, look at, between this crystal stun, which you cannot even DI, and her giant moves having all this hit stun and just lingering hit, it's just like the most mash happy character you could ever imagine in this game where we don't have shields. So she's just so obnoxious. It is unrelenting that even the worst Olympia can still make you think so hard, because these moves are just so favored for her. Like, look at this dash attack. What is this? Why does it auto combo? Like that little hitbox on top of her dash attack just sets up for like the most jank scenarios, because the move is just so generous in terms of how big it is and how long it lasts. And on whiff, it's like she really cares. Like, holy, like, this is insane to me. This fair should not exist. I don't know why it lingers. I don't know why it lingers. I don't know why it lingers. I don't know why it feels like it goes further than her arm and it lingers. Like, why does it linger? Like, this should never linger. Like, there's no precision on this character ever required to be good. This is what people will complain about what Wrastor does to them. At least Wrastor has to be good. This girl just does whatever she wants because her moves are just free. They're just spammably free. And then her up B has the audacity to be a kill move at the end of these spammable moves. Ladders are the easiest way to kill people in a plat fighter. That's why they're so despised. You just do up air, up B. And that's like sometimes the same with her, where it's like she can up air so fast, and it has, again, it's such a mashy up air on hit, especially because the hit cancel, that you just get up air, up B, uh-oh, cross up. It's like, why? And it's so easy. Sometimes it's an accident even on the cross up. Oh, up B, good luck DIing. Like, it's like you gotta, it's so annoying. And then sometimes when it'll just drag you so high up that it is galaxies, or the DI is so impossible that it's just a forfeited stock. And it just comes to her so effortlessly. Everything she does comes to her effortlessly, and it's no respect you can even gain from playing, or people can not even give her respect because it's so effortless. Like, everything is so easy. She's the only character with these level of mashy hitboxes along with armor. Like, in a game again with no shields, she has a shield with armor in a sense. Like, that's kind of ridiculous. Like, other characters in the air are kind of fucked. They have to air dodge sometimes. She can eat a Kragg F smash and then reversal the scenario. Like, this is so egregious. Like, certain moves in this game were not designed to be armored. This is like the best example of why Olympia is fucking stupid. It's like, you do Nair, right? Like, Nair 1 right there. And let's just do tech roll in. Oops, it's the wrong thing. Tech roll in. Yeah, already, okay, it's already on. This is the freest read for Olympia players. This kind of scenario, where they hit you with like a move that starts the tech chase, and the crystal is right behind you. And it's like, I wonder where you're gonna tech roll. Behind me, obviously. I didn't mean to taunt there, but like, the crystal is so fucking free, and it's so broken to what it does to you, that it gives her the most brain dead tech chases I've ever seen. Because who in their right mind, even though like it's obvious the Olympia player is going to like read me rolling away from her crystal, but I'd rather go towards her than this broken ass, stupid, confirmed like smash attack crystal freeze. Then at least she has to do one level of thinking if I roll toward her, instead of give her this free ass shit and then up B. Oh, like, it's just so free. That's why I think she's so powerful, because the game just gives her so many things. She thrives in this environment. In a game with no shield, Unga Bunga armor, like, and just mash hitboxes, and giant disjoint that lingers, and then also this F tilt that has like no hit pause, so you just die sometimes still. It's like of course she's gonna be one of the best characters. You gave her no restrictions on like anything. So so Maypul, she is the second best character in the game at whiff punishing, second only to Wrastor. And this Lily here makes her disadvantage and advantage state both enhanced. So what I mean by that is when she's hiding behind this, right, it's kind of hard to deal with her because this plant will snap at you if you get a little too close to it. So you're gonna have to like parry or get close enough to that plant to get the parry, but before you get there, Maypul can intercept before you get close enough to Lily and poke you, or do this, right? As you're trying to get close to Lily, right? And this is mainly the main game plan of Maypul. But even putting Lily right here is a little too nice. They actually will put Lily on a platform because she's a lot more unforgiving on a platform because it's harder to waveland parry in my opinion than it is to sliding parry on the ground. And so a lot of times they'll just play up here and they're kind of just bait you with down airs, poke at you and retreat, right? Like they're just trying. This is so laggy. Wow, never knew how laggy this move was. Yeah, but again, this is like the way they play. Or they'll throw seeds at you, right? If you don't want to approach, and they'll retreat back to this platform, and then you have to approach between. It's like Absa, literally. It's just like Absa. Like it replaced the plant Lily here with the Absa's Twitch cloud. And it's the same idea of you can't get through to me before you get to her. But if I read you're gonna try to get to her, I can come down with this, or say no like this. You know, she's so good at playing keep away from Lily, and if you ever get knocked into Lily, you can just die. And that's why she's so good, because her game plan is so easy to operate in terms of I press down B and I run behind down B, and then I punish you for dealing with down B. That's the extent of her basic game plan. And it's so powerful because she's so quick. She can mix up when she actually wants to go in and when she wants to stay behind this plant. And even if she just wants to go Unga Bunga, she can always DI toward her plant if something goes wrong. So it's like just a unbelievably safe and control-oriented neutral that you can never go wrong with, especially when her combo game is so good as well. So when you win neutral, you're rewarded so hard with some of the strongest mash attacks, some of the craziest combos, and some of the, I don't know, flashiest finishers in the game, literally. Maybe one day she'll be better than Wrastor, but I don't think today is the day. Finally, on to Wrastor, the Wind's Fury. So Wrastor is broken. He's always been broken, and he's still the best, doing the same thing he's always done, which is touch you and then kill you, and then be untouchable while doing those two things. Right? So Slipstream, I made a whole video on. Well, first of all, I made a whole video on Wrastor and why he's the best. So if you want to watch that, I'll link it in the description, or just in the comment section, one of the two. So essentially, this character revolves heavily around his gimmick, which is Slipstream, and Slipstream is Slipstream is a tornado that leaves behind a wind effect, and the wind boosts Wrastor's speed immensely, and only while he's in it though. And while he's in it, he becomes the fastest character in the game, both in the air and on the ground. So his options are the most wide out of any character in terms of pure fundamentals from this point onward, to the point where he doesn't even need something past that as a gimmick, because that is so powerful to just outspeed everyone. Like I said with Sylvanos, what range essentially means is more speed, and the more speed you have, the more defense you can cut through because you're getting to them faster. So if you're the fastest character in the game, you are cutting through their defense the easiest out of anyone in a game that's centered around movement. You're faster. They can't outmove you. They can't run from your aggression. They can't run from this, right? So you are so broken. And then not only that, but Wrastor is the only character in the game that basically never has to condition your DI. Shout out to Quinny, who pointed that out in like a Twitter thread, and I never forgot that because that's such a good way to describe Wrastor, in my opinion, is that he doesn't actually require you to give him a certain DI. He can always catch you, he just has to react to the DI. Which is why I always say that if Wrastor touches you, you should technically probably be dead. If the Wrastor's reacting fast enough. It's that fucked up. It's that fucked up, literally. So you have to be ready to deal with like a onslaught of bullshit from this bird, because his level of mix, once this speed is available, is too much to deal with. You'll never know when he's gonna hit you, and so you kind of have to preemptively attack, and that's when he whiff punishes you, because you're forced to make a bad choice, because he might just hit you anyway, and then you're gonna get hit. So you might as well try to hit him first, but that's what he wants you to do, so he can whiff punish with like his ridiculous move speed. Look at how far his wave dash back is, right? So Wrastor is cracked in terms of safety, especially when we were talking about how bad Etalus is for his hurt box, right? Look at this slender bird in terms of like hurt box. There is so little to hit for Wrastor. There's so little. This is so small. Look at this pole I'm standing next to. Literally, it's almost as thick as the pole. Literally, so it's like you're not really given a lot to work with as Wrastor's opponent to try to hit him. He doesn't give you a lot to like work with. That's what I'm saying. He's not fair. Like Ranno is fair. Like he gives you a lot of ways to hit him. Clairen gives you a lot of ways to survive. Wrastor, Sylvanos gives you a lot of ways to bully him when you're on top of him. Wrastor will just, no, get off of me. Frame 5 up B. Get off, like this is something I wish I had. Like at least the threaten, wake up after a parry and then or after a tech in place and then up B. I would love to do that. I could threaten it to say you have to respect my options instead of just get bullied. Wrastor does not get bullied in that same way. Wrastor has so many jumps and giant hitboxes on this down air, right? Giant hitbox on this down air. So even though it's not that disjointed past the talons, it is a giant move, and so he can at least hit people trying to get to him, and his move is kind of fast, so he may not be out disjointing you, but he's outspeeding you with this giant move to land. And then he has all these multiple jumps, and he can just mix up a landing option, right? He can get around to the side of you and then landing slipstream when you try to run at him, like, or jump at him, like, and then now he's approaching you, and you are stuck in the air because you got hit by a slipstream. Like, he's so good at playing like cowboys, like, what I'm saying, like, or what is it, he's kind of like a cowboy where it's like draw, and then he throws this shit at you, and if he'll hit you first because it's so fast, and then he wins neutral. It's that simple. They play like this the whole game. They're back towards you just to taunt you, even almost, like, and then they'll be like draw, and then they go in. Literally, this is literally how Wrastor plays. With punish, draw, and I'm going in, and then you're gonna die because I'm Wrastor. Like, it's not even right. But this is how he plays, and this is why he's number one and has always been number one in my opinion. It's just hard to see. This is the thing about Wrastor though. He's very hard to play, and so even though he's broken as fuck like this and has a good recovery, and he has an easy time landing, and his normals are pretty fucking big, and he can jump cancel these tilts, right? Even though he has all that, I don't care, because he's so hard to play, because he's so light, and he needs such a certain level of perfection to be played that it's okay, because it's more like, damn, this guy's cracked on Wrastor, than damn, this guy's cracked on Olympia. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is hard to manage. This is hard. You're light as fuck, so if you fuck up, you just die. Your recovery is good only when you're coming from above, so you can threaten this NATO land, right? If you are coming from down here, your recovery is so bad. This is so bad for Wrastor. Unbelievably horrible. You're gonna die. You're so light on top of that. So, like, he's so fair sometimes if you fuck up. When they fuck up, it's like, oh damn, I'm gonna kill him. So like, he's really hard to manage. And again, in a game where DI is so powerful, it's really hard to thread the needle on DI with him. Sometimes you're gonna die as Wrastor. So you gotta respect a Wrastor player because he's so hard to play, but it's hard to sometimes because he'll just touch you and he'll kill you for no reason. And so you have to play to Wrastor's weakness, and his only real weakness is, well, a couple weaknesses, is that he's light as fuck, right? So if you hit him with an opening, he'll die way earlier than most characters. And then 2, he has Marthritis. So Wrastor players like Kuzi have figured out like ways to kill people as early as possible, like with this upbeat sweet spot. Oh my god. Right? And this apex hit of up tilt. It's kind of hard to get the apex. There it is. Like that hitbox. They want that hitbox of their up tilt, and they want the sweet spot of their up B, and they're gonna try to do it mid combo sometimes because they want you to mess up DI so they kill you early as possible. In fact, Wrastor is actually punished every time he hits you when your percent goes up, because it's almost like a time limit running out for how long Wrastor can actually combo you. Because once he gets to like 130, 40, he cannot just string together these broken aerials into a clap ender or an up B ender or whatever mix up. He has to now play real neutral, and he kind of struggles at getting through sometimes character gimmicks. And so him having to play into somebody is a lot worse than him baiting them and then punishing them for playing into him. He's much worse when he's approaching you, and he's much worse when you're at 150. But he thrives when you're at low percents because there's infinite things he can do to you to fuck up your DI at low percents. And he can it's basically like he's saving time by going for early kills in a sense, even. Because again, the more damage he does to you, the less things he can do to you as the more times he hits you. So that's basically all I got for today's video. I say that as if it does not take me like 4 hours to do. but yeah, guys, this is my Rottweiler new tier list, or my final. This has been my final tier list. I hope you guys enjoyed, or at least learned something. Or even if you disagree with some of my takes or my thought process, you can leave in the comment section what you think, and we can all talk about it or whatever. It'll be fun. So yeah, have a good one. Peace.